Okay. Okay, everybody. I think we have everybody. Matt, are you here? Matt did say that he might run a little bit late, and Maureen as well. So other than that, I believe that we have everybody with us. It is 7:01, and I will call this meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is a communication for a letter of resignation, and I will turn this over to Mr. Angeli.
Thank you. So the communication is from me, as the board knows. So I was offered a position with the Killingly Public Schools last night as their superintendent, and I have accepted that position. So my letter states that I am writing to Chairperson Haynes and all the members of the Board of Education that I am writing to resign my position as superintendent of schools for the Lebanon Public Schools. It has been a privilege and an honor to have served Lebanon as the superintendent since July 2015. I will always be grateful to the board, staff, students, and community members that participated in the selection process that led to my being hired. I am proud to have worked with the board, staff, students, parents, and Town of Lebanon leaders on many initiatives and projects during my time here in Lebanon. Most recently, the eager and collaborative approach to problem solve around educational programming, safety, and food service during COVID-19 pandemic has been overwhelmingly positive and productive. Academic initiatives during my time in Lebanon have included district and school strategic planning, portrait of the graduate, and increasing expectations and opportunities for all learners through teacher PLCs, instructional rounds, and removing barriers to accessing rigorous instruction. These efforts were supported with increased opportunities for professional development for district staff. We also added girls volleyball to the middle school. We were able to maintain our girls swim team, and that we added a co-op football program amongst other student clubs and activities. This work contributed to our success, maintaining relationships with Franklin and Region 11 and establishing new relationships with Basra and Sprague. We partnered with various Town of Lebanon elected and employed officials to establish a BOE non-lapsing account, write a farm viability grant for the middle school greenhouse. We completed the Route 207 speed zone project. We installed solar projects for the middle school and the elementary school. We reestablished the school resource officer position, and currently we're replacing the Lyman oil tank at the high school, as well as we have facilitated the cell tower project on the school grounds behind the high school. Other projects and initiatives included facility and equipment upgrades for the ASTI program, hiring a school social worker, adding computer programming to the curriculum, initiating a one-to-one computer device program for students and staff, stage curtain replacements, school safety audits, and refinishing the tennis courts. And I have to say the above list is not exhaustive of all the work that we've been able to do over the last 5+ years. The district is a very busy place and there's a lot of hard work going on. But what makes that all worthwhile is knowing that everything that we have been engaged in has been to the benefit of our student, staff, and the greater community. And what makes it all manageable certainly is the hard work and dedication and professionalism of our administrative team, our teachers, our IAs, our secretaries, custodians, and all the members of the Lebanon Public Schools team. So it has been a fantastic experience for me, both professionally and personally. And I feel that my growth as an educator has been excelled through my experiences in Lebanon. So I couldn't be more happy with my time in Lebanon. So it is definitely bittersweet as my time in Lebanon will come to an end. But I am looking forward to new challenges and experiences in Killingly. So thank you very much.
And thank you, Bob. You know, I think I speak for the board when I say that we certainly appreciate your dedication and your service to Lebanon over the past 5 years. You know, we wish you nothing but the best in Killingly, and thank you.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. Item number 3 on the agenda is to act on the letter of resignation. Is there a motion?
Motion to accept Bob's letter of resignation with regrets. Right? Did I say that right?
Yes, motion by Nicole. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by John. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of accepting Bob's letter of resignation for superintendent, please raise your hand. That's Nicole, Dawn, John, Alexis. Mark, would you mind speaking so your face comes up?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Your hand is up. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. I couldn't see you. Matt, are you here? Oh, and Danelle, do you mind saying something so I can see you also?
I'm here.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, our next item on the agenda is the discussion of the current learning model. I did ask for this item to be discussed at the board meeting today. I have asked Bob to provide the board with some documents and just a summary of the latest on COVID and the impacts to our children of Lebanon. So thank you, Bob.
You're welcome. So what I sent to the board was the revised addendum 4, which is a joint document from the State Department of Education and the Department of Public Health. This document is one of the addendums that came out after the state had published its guidance for reopening schools, right? And so it speaks to it provides guidance as to when districts might consider in-school instruction, hybrid instruction, and distance learning. There is a separate document that I also sent out to the board, which came specifically from the Department of Public Health. It also provides guidance not just for schools, but for other areas of society as well, including the business sector and other public and private entities. So basically the guidance in each of these documents is the same. There are 3 categories: yellow, orange, and red. So yellow category is when a community is experiencing 5 to 9 cases per 100,000 people on a daily basis, and that is averaged over a 2-week period. Orange category is 10 to 14 cases, and red is 15 plus cases per 100,000 people, again, averaged over a 2-week period. Currently, our numbers, which were updated today and published on the Connecticut COVID data website, our current number is 2-week total of 24. We had, and that is the 2-week period ending November 14th, so last Saturday. So 24 with a rate of 23.8 per 100,000 people, right? Daily averaged over 14 days, 2 weeks. So we're at 23.8 right now. So that puts us well into the red and very close to the threshold where the state has said if you have more than 25 cases, that's when school systems should consider more distance learning, right? So we're just under that number. I can tell you, though, that the numbers this week are high, right? So to get to the 24, the 2 weeks looked, so 2 weeks ago, the number was 7 cases. Last week, the number was 17 cases, right? Thus, we have the 24 total. Next week, when they report the new 2-week total, we're going to be over the 25 mark, right? So last week, again, was 17 cases. This week so far, through yesterday, the numbers for today have not been available to me. I got these numbers from Patrick McCormick, the director at Uncas Health District, earlier in the day. But through yesterday, the number for this week was 13. So that number plus the 17 puts us at 30. And when they do the math, we will be over the 25 mark, right? So we know that right now that we're going to be over the 25 mark. So the middle school, as you know, was placed into distance learning today because we have several staff members that need to quarantine because they are considered close contacts of a person who tested positive for COVID-19. We are not going to be able to fill the sub, right? So our teachers are teaching from home when they quarantine, but we still need adults in the rooms with the kids. And some of these staff members that need to quarantine are teachers, and some of them are support staff, are instructional assistants. And so we still need to have subs for those people in the building, even if they are able to work from home. And the way it is right now, we cannot fill every sub vacancy at this point. And with the additional vacancies that were created by today's positive COVID result, we just know in advance we're not going to be able to fill that. And so the decision was made for the middle school to go into distance learning until November 30th. And if everything is okay at that point, we would bring the middle school back, right? But that's going to be contingent upon the numbers of cases, whether or not we continue to see cases impacting the school system. With the number rising in anticipation of the number that's going to be greater than the 25 rate, I will be in communication tomorrow with Patrick McCormick at Uncas Health District and discuss with him, recommendations and what he's seeing. A community can be experiencing a lot of cases but they could be people that are unaffiliated with the schools, right? And so the impact on the school system is minimal, even if the number of cases rise. So when I get the data from Patrick McCormick, I don't always know, the age of the person. I don't know their identity. I don't, if there are children in the home, I am informed that I could have a parent of children that may have tested positive. But with the numbers that I received today, I wasn't provided with any of that type of information. So the numbers are increasing in Lebanon. They are definitely increasing also in the surrounding communities. If you go on to the COVID data website, the state of Connecticut is turning red as districts and municipalities are all ending up in the red alert zone. There are very few that are not in the alert zone. The only one in our area that's not, I think, is Scotland. Scotland has very few cases. They've had very few cases throughout this whole thing, and they continue to stay low. But everyone else around us, including us, the numbers continue on the rise. Next week is a abbreviated week for the Thanksgiving holiday. Again, I will talk with Patrick McCormick to discuss with him the rise of cases in the area and potential impact for the school system. It would be nice, I think, if we could get to the Thanksgiving break without having to go distance learning. But I think there is a real concern about, people are going to want to celebrate Thanksgiving with families and friends. As much as we provide the guidance that they should keep their celebrations small, or the reminders about travel advisories, we do know that we have people that are planning events, and we know that we have some families that are planning traveling, right? They're traveling to see family and friends. The children are excited about these trips, and they tell their friends, and so we know that this is going to be happening in our community. One of the mechanisms for spread within a community are these small social gatherings that occur with family members and friends. And so the anticipation is we will see a continued increase in COVID cases in Lebanon, across the state, and more likely across the country. Through the holiday season. On the governor's press conference this afternoon, he mentioned that he expects the rise to continue until sometime in January, right? So we could see a rise in COVID cases over the next couple of months. The impact on school is inevitable. We're already feeling it, right? This week I sent 2 letters about cases that had direct impact to our schools, one of which led to the middle school being placed into distance learning. So right now, I'm aiming towards keeping the high school and the elementary school with in-school instruction at least up until Thanksgiving. I need to talk with Patrick McCormick tomorrow, now that the numbers have been released. And then if after that conversation, and if there's any recommendations coming from our health district to change our instructional model, then I think we're going to have to do that. All right. The option the option is always to keep people safe, right? And I have been saying all along, we will stay in school as long as it is safe. And when it's not safe, we'll do something else. And so, we moved the high school into distance learning for a couple of weeks. We're going to move the middle school into distance learning starting tomorrow. And if we end up having to get all our schools into distance learning, or perhaps into a hybrid model, then that's what we'll do. But I need to speak with Uncas Health, right? You'll see in the documents, it says the superintendent in consultation with the local health districts, right? And so I did speak with Patrick McCormick today. The numbers are rapidly changing. One day this week we had 9 cases. 2 days this week we had 0 cases. I don't know how many cases there were today. I don't know how many we will have tomorrow. I do know that we have 13 so far again through yesterday, and so the numbers are concerning. I don't know if anyone has any questions, concerns they would like to raise.
Questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, I'll make a comment. I definitely agree with you, Bob. I think that I think safety is the number one, the number one thought that we should be thinking about here. Just where possible, and I know like I'm totally trust you on making the decisions here because you're working so closely with Uncas Health. But for the kids, where possible, keeping them in school, I think, even hybrid, just because I worry about their SEL. I don't want a repeat of last spring of when they all got depressed and they were just so miserable without each other. So if it is possible to keep us at least hybrid, like until January, then that's what I would like to see, only because I don't want to see these kids suffering emotionally. And I know a lot of these cases that we have in Lebanon are grownups. Not a lot of them are kids. And so it leads me to believe that these schools are safe. We're doing everything we can to keep these kids safe. They're wearing their masks, they're washing their hands, they're staying apart, so I don't want to see anything bad happen to these kids. That's all.
Thanks, Nicole. Any other comments from the board? Go ahead, John.
Bob, I had a question about with the holidays coming up, people travel. And if someone travels out of state, we're going to need to quarantine. How are we going to do it if it's staff members? I mean, how are we doing numbers wise with substitute teachers?
So the substitute teachers is a challenge, John. We have been doing okay so far, but every day we have some vacancies, right, that we're unable to fill. And so the principals work with their staff to really manipulate schedules so that we can have coverage, because right now we're unable to fill every position when somebody is out. And that was a big factor in my decision to move the middle school to distance learning. Really, student-wise, it only impacted one cohort of students at the middle school, and we could have quarantined just that one cohort and kept everybody else in school, but I wasn't going to have the subs. And so not having subs makes it hard to run the school. It was really an administrative decision based on availability of staff versus, a fear of, continued spread of COVID, because we could have removed the kids and kept them safe at home in quarantine. It became a staffing issue.
Thank you. Any other comments from board members? Nope. Danelle, Alexis, Mark, Dawn? No? Oh, go ahead, Danelle.
I'll just add that I appreciate the approach that you've taken, and I agree with Nicole. As much as possible, we should be in school. There's been a lot of studies out there that say the safest place to be is in the school, because we are using all those safety measures. And when you go home, let's admit, the kids get together with their friends sometimes because they haven't seen them, and they're not wearing their masks, and they are hanging out closer together. So I appreciate the approach that you've taken, Bob, and want to continue on that way as much as we can to keep the kids safe.
Thanks, Danelle. So I would just like to say that I think we need to be very careful here, especially around the holidays, like you mentioned, Bob. We don't know which families are planning to visit their families. We don't know that our families are going to quarantine if they need to go out of state. And I'm wondering if that message has been shared enough with our families and our staff members that that if we are to be, to be celebrating the holidays, we're very careful about where we're going. It's not a comfortable time for any of us. But I do feel like with our numbers climbing the way that they are, and while I respect that some students need to be in school, I want to err on the side of health and safety first. So I am sort of I'm in the other camp with the majority of my fellow board members. I think we'd rather be safe than sorry. It's not something that I take lightly, a decision I take lightly at all. As you all know, I am in the trenches. I do see what happens on a daily basis. And while we try our very best to keep our kids safe, there are some things we can't protect them from. So while wearing your masks and following all the protocols, and hats off to all of the administrators and teachers and everybody for keeping our kids safe, it's not foolproof. And we know that. So in my opinion, I think we need to err on the side of caution here, especially with our numbers at 30 over the last 2 weeks, which is higher than the state guidelines. So I will appreciate your information coming tomorrow, Bob, after you speak with Patrick and Uncas Health, to let us know the decision to what your recommendation would be.
Absolutely. I certainly don't take it lightly either. When I send the letters out on Fridays, and I let people know that we're going to continue with in-school instruction, I do get some responses from parents who are grateful that we're trying to keep the kids in school. And I get them really at two different ends of the spectrum. The parents of our youngest kids, they're happy that their little ones get to go to school. And then I get communications from some of our parents at the high school level that really want their kids to have an in-school experience. But I think everyone is really becoming more concerned, Sarah. I agree with you with the numbers on the rise. And it could be that, it'll be time for us to move to a different instructional model. I think it's going to be inevitable if the numbers continue to go up. But I am trying to balance the overall number with the direct impact on the school system. And so, that's kind of the tightrope I'm moving on right now. But I'm in contact with Patrick McCormick at Uncas Health 2 or 3 times a week now, either through email or a quick phone call or a text message. And he's always made himself available. If he's not available, Uncas Health has taken on additional staff to assist. And so there are 3 or 4 different nurses that I've been in contact with now at Uncas Health, and they've been very, very helpful and supportive as we work our way through this process.
Thank you. And as far as communication for families that plan to travel, will there be a reminder sent, Bob, about traveling for the holidays again, just to reiterate the importance of not bringing anything into the school?
Yeah, there definitely will be. So I've already provided 1 reminder to the families about that. I've shared that with the staff. There will be another reminder in my letter that goes home tomorrow, along with, I usually share the links to the various state websites. And so there will be the link in there again to the Connecticut Travel Advisory website. There will be the link in there again for the traveler form that people will have to fill out if they are returning from a trip that has taken them away for longer than a 24-hour period. And also, I have been reminded everyone that if they have travelers coming to their homes in Lebanon or our other sending communities, that their visitors are supposed to fill out that form as well. And so I will do that again.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board? All right, thank you very much, Bob, and thank you to everybody that has come so far tonight. Our next item on the agenda is an anticipated executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters. Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion to move into executive session.
Thank you, Nicole. Is there a second? Mark seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor of moving into executive session, please raise your hand. Dawn, could you pop up for me?
Hey.
Okay, you have your hand up? Okay, good. That passes unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, we will now move into executive session. The board has a